Alright, here's a video I wish I'd never had to make. Like, seriously, like, the fact that I'm making this is disappointing. We're talking about Lafreniere and Kakko and their disappointing production this season. So, we're going to be using elite prospects to look at where they've come from, and we're going to look at hockey references to see where they might go. As for Cotton Eye Joe, I don't know. So let's talk about Kakko. He's only 20 years old. He's still a kid. So I want to start by prefacing this. Neither one of these players are by any means a bust. All right, they're young. They're both only 20 years old. Neither one of them can legally consume or buy alcohol in the United States. All right, they're still young. They're kids. So I'm not worried about them. But let's talk about it. Let's try to figure out why. So, wrote up in 2018, a quick-thinking winger, Kakko never seems to be in a rush, ain't that the truth? He reads the game exceptionally well and finds himself a step ahead while the play is still developing. He is confident with the puck and capable of handling it in small spaces. That we see very often still. With his size, Kakko protects the puck well and uses his high hockey IQ to make smart offensive plays. Kakko excels offensively and beats opponents with smarts and skill both on and off the puck. He's got a brother. Oh, I don't know this, so we're gonna just slide over real quick because I don't know he had a brother. Oh, his brother's 19. Is he any good? Probably not. That's cool though. I didn't know he had a brother. That's actually kind of cool. So back to Kakko. Yeah, so you can tell people have wrote nothing but good things about the kid. But he really hasn't translated to the NHL. And why is that? So, we look at his numbers prior to being drafted. This is his draft year. 38 points, 22 goals in 45 games. And at the World Championships, as an 18-year-old, playing against grown men, he had 7 points in 10 games. That's pretty damn impressive. 6 goals. That's pretty damn sick. And then he gets to the NHL, and it's not really translated yet. And we got to sit here and ask ourselves why. Well, year one, you could assess some blame on the David Quinn for weird deployment of Kakko. Not giving him a whole lot of ice time. It's his first year in the NHL. I mean, he's coming all the way over from Finland, a kid he knows nobody there. I don't believe there was a single other Finnish player on the Rangers. Just a weird team. And David Quinn is definitely not giving him any ice time, as we saw. Bounced around the line. It was on the fourth line. Sometimes it was on the top two lines. Mostly on the third and fourth line. Between 8 and 12 minutes a night. Not really getting a whole lot of ice. Looked uncomfortable. Looked slow. Just, he looked scared. Like, he looked like someone that was uncomfortable of his situation and scared of his coach. Year two is kind of more of the same. He looked a little bit better as a player. I think the Rangers drafting Lafreniere put a little bit of pep in his step, but not enough to really increase production too much. If we're looking at production, not points per 60 because it doesn't give us that here, and there's no way in hell I'm going to calculate that because it won't tell me how many minutes he played. 23 divided by 66, that's .348 points per game. Multiply that by 16, add it to the 23 points. His rookie year, he was on pace for 28.5 points. So we said .385, right? So 17 divided by 48. His points per game were the exact same. Actually, that might have been worse. No, his points per game were .01 better. So, I mean, not much of a difference there. We're not seeing... The only thing that increased was his goals per game, which is awesome. This year, Kakko doesn't have a single point in 8 games, which is a little bit worrying. But if you're looking at his play, I'm not thrilled with the way he's played. But I'm happier this year than I was last year and the year before because it looks like he's playing harder. He's forechecking really well. He's winning a lot of puck battles along the boards in the offensive and defensive zone, but he's still not producing, and that sucks. And you hate to see a second overall pick not produce. But, listen, this is the hand we were dealt. These are the players that we have. We need to be patient. Getting on these kids and ripping them online like a bunch of like a bunch of pussies, you know, under the shape of an adult or under the guise of an adult, I mean, you're not helping the situation at all. So let's not attack children, young adults on the internet who are playing in the best league in the world. Let's be patient. Because the more you attack guys like this, as we've seen as Rangers fans, when you get on a player, they find out about it. And their play continues to diminish. I'm not saying coddle the guy, but I'm saying give him a damn break. He's 20 years old playing in the best league in the world on a team that's struggling in all areas of the ice. I'm just saying. So, for the past 2 seasons, you can put some blame on David Quinn as well as Kakko himself. This season, it's kind of hard to assess blame on anybody for production purposes aside from him. He's been getting minutes on Panarin's line. Granted, he got hurt, but the injury effects aren't lingering. The points are just not on the board right now where they need to be because this team is needing of goals, and Kakko's not really creating much offense by himself. He's creating some offense by himself, but he's not the play driver on his line. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. To tell you the truth, I don't think Kakko belongs on that Panarin line. I just don't think they mesh very well. I think Barclay Goodrow, as much as I fucking wish he was not on this team, would be more suited for that Panarin line because Panarin and Strome typically do well with bottom six guys that just do all the forechecking for them. That's just my opinion. If you take a look at him on Hockey Reference, Kakko, he's got a negative Corsi for both his career and this season. Corsi is the percentage of time your team is controlling the puck. If you're above 50%, that means your line or your team is controlling the puck more than the other team when you're on the ice. If it's below 50%, that means your team is not possessing the puck as much as the other team is when you're on the ice. Typically, negative Corsis you'll see on the bottom six lines that are playing more of a defensive shutdown role. Whereas a guy in a scoring role like Kakko, you'd expect him to be not well over 50%, but over 50%. His line has not been that. He has not been that. And that sucks. That really freaking sucks because you need him. You need him to have that. Possession metrics. So Fenwick's more. I never really understood Fenwick. I only really look at Corsi because I don't really know how to read Fenwick very well. I mean, I guess it's literally the same thing as Corsi is what it looks like. But if you look at Kakko's Corsi last year and the year before, in all situations, it was a pretty high positive. Like these are good numbers. Like this is a guy that when he's on the ice, his team is possessing the puck for better or worse. So now where do we sit with Kakko right now? So obviously in the most ideal world, Kakko maybe not an exact Mark Stone player, but a Mark Stone archetype where he's a really good two-way forward that can score as well. You can almost put him in the same realm as maybe like a Mikko Rantanen as well. Where if you take a look at Mark Stone's numbers, I mean, look, his fucking, I wouldn't look at this year, but relative Corsi for his career, over 50%, looking at 53.5%, well over 55% every single year. Some years touching as much as 60%. I mean, his team is touching the puck and has the puck a lot more than not when he's on the ice. I don't think he's a great comparable for Kakko because I do think they're two different players. I think Kakko's a little bit more flashy, more offensive than Stone, even though Stone does score a lot. I think a more comparable player would be like a Mikko Rantanen for Kakko because Rantanen can be reliable defensively. You're right back there? I'm sorry. No, you're good. Do what you gotta do. But I don't know. It's a scoring thing. I think he's more comparable to Rantanen. But in a perfect world, he could be like a Mark Stone archetype. I don't think it happens. But this is more like the numbers I would like to see out of Kakko. More than anything, just that Corsi, the team controlling the mother effing puck when he's on the ice. Honestly, I think the expectations for Kakko right off the rip are egregious. I mean, people think, oh, he's guaranteed to win the Rookie of the Year. Oh, he's guaranteed to score 30 goals his rookie year. That's a lot of pressure for a kid who's never played a professional game in his life and is coming from Finland to New York City. That's a lot to ask of a player. So I think realistically, Kakko, what I would love to see out of him when he peaks, whenever that might be, would be a 25 to 30 goal, 60 to 65 point player. I would be A-okay with that if he's playing a strong defensive game, he's playing in all situations, and the team has a high Corsi when he's on the ice. That's all I'd really want to see. In the most idealist of world, he'd be a 30-goal scorer, a 70-point guy. Is that going to happen? Probably not. So 25 to 30 goals, 60 to 70 points, and a 55-plus Corsi every single year. So Laffy's kind of harder to gauge because Lafreniere is... So every level he's played at, aside from the NHL, we're not even going to read all this. We know how fucking awesome he is. It's hard to gauge. Here we go. I'm just going to fucking jump right into it. He's dominated every fucking level he's been at. He's been the guy on every single team he's played on since he's been a child, okay? He came into the QMJHL as a 16-year-old and led his team in scoring. He had 42 goals as a 16-year-old in the Q show. Pretty damn impressive. He was the guy at U17. He was the guy at U18. He was the guy at U20. Everywhere he's been the guy. He comes to the NHL with scorers like, I hate to kiss Kreider's ass, but Kreider last year and the year before, who sucked, but it's good this year. Kreider, Zibanejad, Panarin, Strome, just oodles and oodles of players that are ahead of him in the lineup in terms of scoring priority or whatever the hell you want to call it. A lot of guys were ahead of him. So when he joined this team, he was not the guy. He was a guy. And when David Quinn's running the show, he did not give a lot of ice to Lafreniere and Kakko. He kind of buried them a bit. Last year, I'll chalk up Lafreniere's bad season to not being the guy, and 2, having a coach that really did not give a rat's ass about him, and a player that looked scared when he was on the ice, a player that looked very uncomfortable when he was out there, that every time he made a play with the puck, he was kind of afraid to make a mistake. He was afraid to not make the chip and chase play to get the puck off his stick immediately and not cause a turnover because he's going to get benched. That's what I noticed out of Lafreniere last season. This season, it looks like a player that is settling into a role that he's not fit for. Lafreniere is not a checking forward. Lafreniere is an all-skill offensive driving forward, and he is not being put in a role to do so. When I am building a line in the NHL, a top 6 line, this is the model I use. On one side, you have your forechecking winger, the player that bangs down low and gets the puck out. You have your playmaker, and you have your finisher. Your playmaker is the guy that's driving offense on your line. Your playmaker would be your Artemi Panarin, your Nicholas Backstrom, your Sidney Crosby. I'm not going to use Connor McDavid because that's just a ridiculous example because he's so fucking good. Tyler Seguin, David Pot, maybe not, more like Marchand than Pastrnak because Marchand definitely drives and creates a lot of offense. But players that are putting the offensive side of things on their back, whether it's an assist or a goal, when it comes to offense, they're the one running the show. The finisher could either be a primary finisher or a secondary finisher. When I say that, it means he's just scoring goals at will. Or he's having a lot of goals set up to him by the driver of offense. So that would be more, and this is not an indictment on David Pastrnak, but you could make a serious argument that without Brad Marchand, he would not score as much. And again, I'm not indicting Pastrnak. I'm just saying Marchand certainly helps with the offense that he drives. So take that as you will. Another finisher being an example of a Phil Kessel. Phil Kessel, as good as he was not necessarily driving offense entirely by himself. He could if he wanted to, but a lot of his offense came from players helping him create plays. He was a primary driver in Toronto, though. I mean, let's be real. I mean, come on. And when he was in Pittsburgh, Malkin was a driver or someone. I just go with it, please, for the love of God. I'm very tired. But anyways, regardless of all that, to me, Alexis Lafreniere is the guy. If you're putting him on a line anywhere at any level, he should be the guy, not a guy. The problem is when he was on Zibanejad and Kreider's line, he was a guy, not the guy. That's why Buchnevich fit in so well in that line. Because Buchnevich was not the guy, he was a guy, and he fit in that role. Zibanejad was the finisher. Kreider was the forechecker and the banger down low. Buchnevich he could be a playmaker, he could be a finisher. It was either or. But the offense drove through Zibanejad. Buchnevich was in a great support role, and Kreider was a forechecker. Kind of how, like, on Panarin's line, Panarin is the guy. Strome is the second guy. He could create offense, but most of the time he doesn't. He's sort of a beneficiary of Panarin. Helps drive it, but is not the driver. And then you had guys like Faust or Blackwell on their line. Lafreniere on the line with Hedl and Blais is not the guy. If anything, Philip Hedl is the guy. Because Hedl and Lafreniere play kind of similar roles where they both want the puck on the stick more than the other. When Lafreniere's on the line, he should be the guy that gets the puck. He's the guy you want to get the puck on the breakout. He's the guy you want to control the puck in the half of the zone. He's the one you want setting up plays. And until you find a combination where he is the guy, it's just not going to work out. And the Rangers are way too crowded on the wing for him to find a line where he is the guy. Unless you make it so, you have Zibanejad, Panarin, and Kreider all on a line, and you could put Lafreniere with Strome and a helper on that side. You need to do a lot of shuffling in order to make him the guy. And until he is the guy on a line, he's going to dismally produce. It's just not going to happen. And not for nothing, if I'm Gerard Gallant as a coach, and dude, I've never coached a high level. The most I've ever coached is kids. Like the high single A, right? Like nothing crazy. Just kids. But whenever I wanted to light a fire under someone's ass, whether it was an important game, championship playoffs, and I just wanted a kid to play well that wasn't performing well, you pull them aside, you talk to them like, listen, I need you to be my guy. I need you to be the one that goes out there and score goals. Enough of this filling in a role thing. You need to get out there and be my guy. I need to be able to rely on you to provide me consistent offense. And I don't think that conversation has ever been had with Lafreniere because guys like Panarin and Zibanejad are ahead of him. And let's be honest, you're not going to take an 18-year-old Alexis Lafreniere, fresh into the NHL, be like, all right, so you're just going to come right in and usurp Panarin and Zibanejad right off the rip. This is Panarin who's coming off an MVP season, arguably, and Zibanejad who's coming off a season where he had 42 goals in 50-something games. Just ridiculous paces. You're not going to ask an 18-year-old to come in and just literally tell them, like, all right, you two, Zibanejad and Panarin, you go over there. This is the Lafreniere show now. You don't do that. So I think a conversation needs to happen where you just sit down and you tell the kid, like, you need to start taking over because you're not a role guy. Lafreniere's not fit for a role guy. He wasn't drafted to be a role guy, and he's certainly not going to be paid to be a role guy when the time comes. So let's take a look at more of his individual stats. His Corsi, Fenwick, all that stuff. So negative Corsi, not surprising at all with the way he's played and where he's played. Just bad. It's very frustrating to watch. I want to look at even strength because this is where it really matters. Even strength Corsi, yuck, dude. That's bad. That's really freaking bad. That's really bad. Like we need this. We need something to really start picking up here because I'm telling you right now, it ain't gonna work where he's at. I was gonna give you Jonathan Huberdeau as a comparable, but I really don't think Huberdeau and Lafreniere are anything close to comparable because they're two different players. Honestly, I just want to get into this right now because. If I'm the coach of the Rangers, hold on. And I care about nothing more than getting my players going. So, if I'm the coach that does not care about winning, and the only thing I care about is getting my young guys going and building them up. If this is the only thing I care about in the world right now, this is what I'm doing. I'm not saying this is what should happen, but this is just me saying what I would do if I was just trying to figure things out and I want my players to fucking play, produce offense, and drive. That's fine because those two work well together. So this is my logic, right? So we've already seen this line works out. Lafreniere, Strome, Gaudreau. There's your guy. This is the guy that's driving your offense, Lafreniere. This is your guy that's helping out, Ryan Strome. This is your forechecker, the guy that's working his bag off down low. Now, in my opinion, you can interchange Gaudreau and Blais. These guys you could float around a little bit. You can do Blais, you can do Gaudreau. You can even throw Kakko in there if you really wanted to, but I don't really think that happens. So there's your guy. This is putting Lafreniere in a spot where, like, listen, now you're the guy on a line. Now you've got to drive offense. Now you're putting him in a corner. Like, listen, you have to be the guy now. This is your time. Kakko, you put him in a supporting role. The offense is now being driven through Filip Chytil. Kakko and Sammy Blais can both work down low, but you want Blais in the corner more than you want Kakko. Now you have Kakko on that right side who can help set up and create offense with Chytil being your finisher. Chytil is not a guy that creates much offense off the boards. A lot of Chytil's offense is created off the rush because he's a fast player. With that being said, Kakko being able to help come up and be the second guy on a 2-on-1 or the third guy on a 3-on-2, like, I'll take that. So the majority of offense is driven through Chytil. Kakko's in a support role where he kind of belongs, and Blais your forechecker. I'm not even talking about the fourth line because I don't give a shit about the fourth line, but if I'm putting my guys in a spot where we just need them to fucking work out, this is what I'm doing. Now, if we're allowed to make trades, which I really hope we're allowed to make trades because the Rangers need to make a fucking move because this team is not going to win shit. I am calling San Jose. I'm saying, hey, San Jose, how are you doing? That's great. I really don't care how you're doing. Let's talk trade. You can have this guy right here, even though I really don't want to trade Chytil. You can have that guy. And because we have so many prospects and I really don't want to give a pick right now. Alright, so now you hear my Italian family talking down low right now. You can have a B-level player and prospect of Filip Chytil, who's locked up this year and next year, 22 years old, controllable. And a player, a B-plus prospect on an entry-level deal. Boom. Now, will we throw in a mid-round pick too? Sure. I don't give a rat's ass. But you're making this trade with the assumption that you're going to re-sign Tomas Hertl. Now we're fucking talking. Because now you could do this, or you could do that. I don't give a shit what you do. You just fucking do it. So if you're getting Tomas Hertl, you're guaranteeing that Ryan Strome will not be here next year. Because it just, unless he takes a massive discount, it just ain't going to happen. But now you got to look at it like this. Now you've got a guy that can really run and control offense. First of all, let's go to Hockey Reference right now and talk about Tomas Hertl. Okay, I fucking love Hertl. We're gonna get into all that in a second. This is your guy right here. If you're a winning team, this guy's your third line center. If you're trying to win, this guy's your third line center. You're in really good shape, like really good shape. So forget his point totals that are pretty goddamn good. We're not even concerned about that right now, and the fact that he's a face-off winner. Yes, sir. He's a takeaway machine. Takeaway machine. But even strength, well over 50%. Oh, whoopsies. I'm looking at the wrong damn thing. Those are extra shots. Whoopsies. That was embarrassing, but here we go. Well over 50 fucking percent. This year San Jose sucks, so I really don't care. But over 50% every year he's been in the league. Every year. This guy would be a monster on the Rangers. Dude, like, oh my god, he fit in fucking perfectly. Adjusted 40 goals this season. Oh my god, I love it. So, look at this. Come on. This is your guy right here. This is my man's right here. So you get a guy like Tomas Hertl. This guy is running your offense. There's your forechecker. There's your compliment. Tell me right now this team is not astronomically better. And this is nothing against Filip Chytil. This literally has nothing to even do with him. But tell me the team is not astronomically better with Tomas Hertl in this lineup. Seriously, sit there and try to tell me that. Also, just while we're here, just while we're fucking here, can we do something like this and just change things up? Like, just something. Just get them. Like, Trouba and Miller are no longer a pair. Like, can we decide that? Thank you. But, I would love that. I would freaking love that. But, anyway, that's all the time I got for now, because I got class soon. But, you guys comment below. What are your thoughts on my opinion on the Kaapo, Kakko, and Alexis Lafreniere situation? Are my opinions right? Are my opinions wrong? Did I miss something? Do you have your own opinion? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd like to hear from you guys because it's a really shitty and interesting situation. I'm sorry I kind of droned on about this video. It's 22 minutes long. So you guys comment down below. I'm going to go eat breakfast and get ready for school. And I'll try to reply to as many comments as possible, as usual. See you all in the next one. Thank you for watching. Let's go Rangers.